Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Talking Stuff. My name is Javier Torres, aka Stuff, and I am joined by Luis X, X Godinez, from
Dinas.
from where are you from again?
I'm from GXP.
GameX Presents.
Yup. You
GameX
know,
Presents. They do video game related stuff on YouTube.
yeah, we did, but we're about to do some more. Come back to make a comeback.
It's like, baby, come back.
We're gonna come back like Jordan.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is we used to do these once.
Yeah, we did. We did this once, right? We just did.
We did this
one.
once. We did a hangout once, and it turned out pretty good. But back then we were doing podcasts very often. We haven't done a podcasting forever. We haven't done a hangout in forever. So we're a little bit rusty. But if you deal with us, well, we'll get you there.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Yeah. Where I don't really know where it is, but we're just gonna talk because this is talking stuff, and what we do at talking stuff is we talk about stuff.
So, by any chance, did you rip it off?
Did I rip off what?
Talking stuff.
You know what? I don't know. There could very well be something out there called talking stuff.
Or talking something else. Everything's talking something.
In any case, this is talking stuff HD.
Yeah, we're in HD.
Not really. I look like crap, but So anyway, this has been an interesting week. So I figured this would be a good week to start because either this week or this week and the week before, a lot of things happened. So things that I figured we should talk about that a lot of people might be interested in. And by the way, I wanted to show my Starbucks coffee mug here. I got that on my arcade crate. Arcade.
Oh, should have got it. Dang.
But it's arcade bots. It's not loot crate, which is a little bit more expensive. But I got that, so I'm happy with it.
Did that itself make it worth it?
Well, the cool thing about the arcade block is that you're guaranteed a T-shirt, so that's why it costs more.
How much is it?
It's $30 a month. It's about 30, something like that. Maybe I paid 30 because I'm a large size, so the shirt has to be bigger. Maybe for regular people it'll be cheaper. But I don't know. I kind of like it, but this might also be my last one. Just because I'm like, okay, paying $30 every month. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's kind of cool that you get a random, fun T-shirt. So the other thing that I like about them is that the T-shirts went all the way up to 4XL. On Loot Crate, they only go up to 3XL. So being a bigger guy, I'm like, okay, I kind of like that one better because the shirts from Loot Crate are kind of useless. Sadly, the 4XL shirt seems to be about the same size as the 3XL shirt. So
yeah, it depends who makes it.
But it's got that tag that says 4XL. So anyway, last week, net neutrality. Something happened. What was that?
That the internet it's no longer. I don't know. You explain it.
Okay, so
You're the smart one.
Sure. So net neutrality. We've been talking about net neutrality since we were doing the Anarchy Life podcast, and that thing is still going on. Now, back then, we decided that the best thing for net neutrality to actually do net neutrality would be for the FCC to reclassify the internet as a utility, Title II. But we were like, well, that's never gonna happen. because we were like, oh, Wheeler, that guy, he's working for the ISPs, blah blah blah. Well, fast forward about a year later, and the FCC just announced that they are going to reclassify the internet as a Title II, which means they're going to reclassify it as a utility. Now, reclassifying as a utility allows them to put a lot more rules into place that keep the internet from becoming a cash cow, basically, for companies like Comcast, AT&T, and Verizon. Now, obviously, what these companies want to do is they want to they want to change the internet so in ways that they can make more money. The problem is that the ways that they also want to change the internet could actually be good for some people if you don't think about how it can affect other people. For example, one of the things that they wanted to do is they wanted to have like Netflix pay them extra money so that they don't slow down Netflix when it comes to you. So right now, when Netflix comes to you, they go ahead and they slow it down so that it doesn't come to you at the full speed, which kind of sucks because you're paying for a certain amount of speed because when you buy internet, they give you different plans. So they were gonna tell Netflix, okay, you pay us this much money, and then we won't slow you down. Which, for the consumer, it's like, okay, good, Netflix pays more, but then we get Netflix without any interruptions or any loading or anything. So that looks good for the consumer, but again, it's actually bad because what's Netflix gonna do? Netflix is gonna charge the consumer more in order to make up whatever they're having to pay Comcast. Not only that, but basically any new service that comes out is not going to be able to compete against Netflix because if I have a new video service and I have to pay Comcast X amount of money just so that they don't slow me down, well, I'm not going to be able to pay that. So then I'm screwed because Netflix, well, they're already huge. They can easily pay that, but I can't. So who's going to watch my video service that slows down when they can watch Netflix that doesn't?
And they never like nobody ever talked about what would happen to those like the companies you're talking about that don't have the money to afford these things. They never took them in consideration in any of the debates, right?
Yeah, they were taking into consideration. They just didn't care.
I know that's what I mean. Like they didn't care about those. Like, and it's funny that it's usually what party is usually for that wants to have this.
Well, the party that wants to have the change or net neutrality.
That companies have to pay.
Oh, that's for the most part it tends to be the Republican Party that wants to have companies have to pay.
But and it also doesn't make sense because like how does that fit I guess going too much into politics, yeah, but
yeah, they're always talking about how the little people like businesses should blah blah blah.
Exactly.
This idea that they're bringing, it sounds good for some things, but really it's actually horrible. Another example is let's say Verizon did a deal with Facebook. Right now anything on Verizon doesn't have any unlimited plans on their cell phones. So they could do a deal with Facebook and say, hey, you pay us money and then we won't charge people data when they go to Facebook. So then Facebook would just pay them money. People will go to Facebook on their phone all they want. It wouldn't cost them any data. And then everybody's happy, right? No, because if I come up with a new social media service, why would you go to my social media service that costs you data when you could just use Facebook for free?
Yeah.
So those are the things that really piss me off. The way that they really try to hide all this in a way that it sounds good for the consumer. They're like, oh, you're gonna get, T-Mobile is doing it, and I tend to really talk positive about T-Mobile, but T-Mobile, they're doing this music thing where if you stream music from these specific places that they have allowed, then it's free. It doesn't count against your data. And they were saying like, oh, it's not against net neutrality because eventually we're gonna put every music service in there. Well, so far I've only seen them add a few different music services. So it took them months just to add Google Google Music. So again, if you're a new music service and you're not in there, then why would T-Mobile customers want to listen to your music through their phones when they could just listen to Spotify or Google Music, which doesn't count against their data?
Yeah, but there's those people that they have no problem just like following, like, oh, okay, I'll just use this
Yeah,
this service then since it's free.
yeah, and that's what they're counting on.
So they're guiding people towards services, but they don't actually have the choice.
Like I'm sure even before they added Google Music, I wouldn't be surprised if a few people decided, oh, wait, Google Music is not part of it, so I'm just gonna move to Spotify
Mm-hmm.
because Spotify is part of it, so that way I can listen to all I want and it won't cost against my data.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's I was just thinking of like to certain people it won't matter. I think do you think in general most people would have a problem with it, or you think most people wouldn't care? Like they
I
just don't like.
I think most
Let's
people,
say, yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah, I think most people won't care because they're like, well, I'm getting it for free. I don't care. That they're not thinking about the fact that because we didn't have those rules, that is why we have things like Spotify, Google Music, Facebook, Instagram. Had we had those things before, we would have never gotten all these great services that we have. All of those services became great because they had the same chance as everybody else to start.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like saying, okay, you already made it. Well, now let's make it so that nobody else can make it.
That's kind of, yeah, exactly.
So anyway, the thing is that the FCC decided that they are gonna make it Title II, so they are gonna consider it a utility, which would be like, yay, we won, but no, not really, because right now they are, companies like AT&T already said they're gonna countersue, they're gonna take it to court, so it'll take a while before all of this becomes official. And what's gonna happen next year? Next year we have presidential elections. Well, if we end up with a Republican president, you can bet that he's gonna change the FCC to a Republican FCC, and then they could very well just scrap the whole thing. So.
And is there like a certain list of companies that, like some companies who are, you can kind of place them as they're for it and the other ones are against it? Like, is there like so that people can know, like?
Oh, basically any ISP is for it, which is like, oh, really? The ones that are able to make more money from it are for it. And then basically, I don't know for a fact, but I know that companies like Google, Facebook, Netflix, they all have spoken against it at some point or another.
Because they're the ones who would have to pay for it.
Yeah, they're the ones who will have to pay more, and even though they can certainly afford to pay more, they understand that, and in a way it would be beneficial for them because then you wouldn't have competition. But they understand that the internet, if you start messing it with it like that, who knows what could happen? The big fear is always of places like Comcast turning the internet into something very much like cable TV, where you have packages. Like, oh, you want internet? Well, if you want it with Netflix, you got to pay so much more. If you want it with Netflix and YouTube, then you got to pay so much more, and that would just be bad overall for the internet.
And especially with all this talk about freedom and liberty, but like the internet's the last free and liberty place we have, and they want to take it away. And it's funny
Yeah,
that Republicans start talking about freedom, and like this is our freedom. They're taking it away. Like it doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
but
Oh,
uh,
they must like where do they get paid from though?
excuse me. But true. I mean, we all know that companies like Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, all of them have a
Yeah,
ton of money,
lobbying.
government. So,
Yep.
so anyway, let's move on to happier topics. Uh, so this week, the Galaxy S6 was announced.
Yeah, something I know about.
Have you been able to look into that?
I looked at a couple videos. It's an interesting phone. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about the changes that some of these phones had.
So I don't know if you guys can see this my screen right now.
Yeah, I can see it.
So this is the Galaxy S6 for those that have not seen it. Um, very nice looking phone. Now
It looks nice. Yeah.
they came out with two versions of the Galaxy S6. There's the Galaxy S6, and then there's the Galaxy S6 Edge. So these pictures are from the Edge. Now, personally, I kind of feel like the Edge should have been it. Like,
Yeah, it should have been one version of it.
yeah, like the S6 kind of looks like your typical Galaxy phone. And don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful. It's got glass in the front, Gorilla Glass 4, and I believe it's also Gorilla Glass 4 in the back. So if you drop it, it will break in the back also.
So it's kind of like the iPhone 4s.
Yeah, remember? You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Now it's also the home button here. You no longer have to swipe your finger in order to log in to use the fingerprint thing. It's more like the Apple one.
And just count how many times you say just like Apple.
Yeah. That'll probably happen a lot. Like, it looks like an iPhone to me. It looks like an iPhone 6 mixed with an iPhone 4. I mean, look at the sides here, like the sides of the phone, the way they're curved.
This is how iPhone would look if it would run Android.
Yeah.
Because it has you gotta have those back buttons
Now,
and stuff like that.
I absolutely hate this camera. Not the camera itself, just the fact that it comes out.
Yeah.
To me, that just kind of ruins the.
Like the iPhone.
That to me, that just kind of ruins it.
Yeah, I really hate that because especially if you don't I usually buy a case, but usually it takes me a while to get a case. But
Yeah.
so when I put it on the table, I put it face on the back, so it always feels like I'm gonna be scratching the camera.
So let's see if I can show these images over here. Like, to me, some of these images of it.
I really like the Edge.
To me, the Edge, it looks different, and again, this looks so much like an iPhone 6 bottom.
It does. It's especially you would think them getting sued all the time by Apple, that they would try to stay as far away to make them look like Apple, but they have the the camera, the rounded edges, and then of course if you want to get into it now, the fact that it's all on what's it called, onboard storage, so there's no expandable SD, and then there's no removable battery.
Now, how do you feel about these two? Because a lot of people have been very upset. I kind of have mixed feelings.
Like about the battery, it doesn't bother me as much because I really never really had an extra one. But like expandable storage, I might have a little bit more problems with it because I like expandable storage. Just because I don't know.
I
Because
just like it. Okay, I don't need a
to have an
reason.
option, like sometimes I don't know. You go to a place and you take a lot of pictures, and you don't have like this year you go on a trip or whatever. You take a lot of videos. You can just like buy another SD card, and
Yeah, yeah, but then also, like nowadays they sell little USB drives that are micro USB, so it's so easy to just
yeah,
attach one of those to an Android phone and then just move the files.
that's true.
Uh,
That's true.
so so I personally I would still prefer having an SD card that I can just easily remove instead of having to transfer all the files. But at least there is a solution nowadays. With the way we have been going with fast charging and wireless charging,
Yeah,
I'm okay with the battery.
yeah, with the battery.
Uh, the SD, well,
Well, one thing about the SD, I guess, also is it depends on how much each upgrade of storage is going to be for the S6. Like,
no, the good
does
thing
it
is that they are starting with 32, so that's the
yeah, so
lowest.
so Apple does it every 100, $100, and I think that's way too much.
Oh yeah,
So it
definitely.
should be like every like $45 or at least, maximum every $50. 35, 64, and 128.
Shit, nowadays I think 120 should be the minimum. Really, I mean, how difficult is it to? I don't know. It could be difficult.
At least 64 the minimum.
Yeah, but again, to me, I'm like, I cannot really enjoy having the ability to remove an SD card, especially when when you ROM a lot or you end up messing up your phone a lot. It's nice to know that all my pictures are in a separate little place and um, that I can easily take it out of the phone and put it on a drive on a computer too, without having to transfer. But but at least, like I said, those little, and I have one in the car, but I didn't bring it. But it's basically just a little USB drive. The one that I bought has on one side it has a full size USB, and then on the other side it has a micro USB.
Like
So
one of
you
these
can.
things.
No, it
Uh,
looks it's a tiny one, more like
oh,
this.
oh, okay.
But
Well, this has everything. It has an HDMI. It has
okay, no, yeah, the one I'm talking about is tiny. Um, so you can easily carry it on your keychain, and like I said, you can easily plug it into your phone, transfer the files to it, then take that same device and plug it into a regular computer and transfer the files there. So
and I also had a question because like a lot of times these flagship phones cost like $700 off contract. Do you really think they still should be costing that much?
for flagships, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really think it costs them that much to do
Because
it.
remember, yeah, because I remember in one of the podcasts we did, we had a breakdown of
Yeah,
how much it cost for the iPhone, and it was ridiculous
I think that
the
was the
amount of private.
yeah, the one we did was the iPad, and
Yeah, the iPad, and
and
the higher the storage, the more profit like
yeah,
margin it was, and that
uh,
was crazy. Like,
overall the more expensive iPad it probably cost them like $300 to make it, but then they would sell it for like 900.
yeah. So I really hope that it's not that
Now
much.
I didn't look at the price for the S6. I don't think they have released the
No,
price,
no, they don't have it yet. I don't think.
but I already read somewhere that it looks like it's gonna be more expensive. So we'll see about that. Now, again, with high-end smartphones, I'm more okay with them being priced that way, even though it's still wrong. But only because we have so many options nowadays of cheaper good phones like the Moto X, for example. You can get one of those for what, $400?
Yeah.
That sadly the Nexus is no longer one of those cheaper ones, but it's still one of the cheapest high-end smartphones that you can get.
They brought them back.
What?
The Nexus 5.
Did they?
Yeah, you can actually go to the like Google Play and get some more. I think they brought it back because a lot of people still wanted them. So
people were like, I don't want the sets. I've been kind of disappointed with the sets, even though I don't have it. But I keep reading of people having issues with them. So I am, currently my daily driver is my trusty Note 4, and I am very, very happy with it.
And why didn't you get the Note 4 Edge?
Because when I bought the Note 4 Edge wasn't out yet. So
you would have?
I probably would have had it been out. I kind of like the little Edge thing. I really like the Edge thing on the S6. To me, the way that they are using it's so much. It's kind of cool, You get that little notification light just going back and forth, back and forth.
Especially since it's a phone that you can have with one hand, so you can like swipe from the left or swipe from the right.
But then again, they should have just had the S6 Edge and be like, okay, this is the new Galaxy S6, with a whole new design, rather than making the old design, although prettier and nicer, but still the old design and then the new one. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It would have been like really stand out, because now it's like, now you got a choice of like the regular one and then this.
Now I do wonder how cases are gonna work on that Edge.
You know what I was thinking? If it's like how you have your flip case, right?
Yeah.
I think that one's gonna go, instead of going to the sides, I think it might go like up or from the bottom.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Probably for the top. Flip.
But like regular cases, like I'm not sure how those are gonna work, because I don't know.
I'll probably just have to like be one of those that grabs from the top and from the bottom and kind of leaves the sides exposed.
I guess.
Might as well not get a case. See, like that's a phone that I wouldn't get a case for. Like usually I would get a case, but that design itself is like, okay, a case is kind of like it goes against its purpose.
I always want to go caseless.
Or get a skin or something.
But then I always feel like, I'm gonna break it. I can't do that. So I tend to I end up getting a case, and I end up getting a screen protector, because I used to never get a screen protector, but then one day, like a little piece of sand ended up getting into between my flap and my phone on the Note 2, and it ended up scratched, and that was the worst day of my life. So I've had a great life, apparently.
That was the worst thing.
So anyway, speaking of the S6, that kind of looks the same as the other ones, have you seen the new HTC One M9?
You mean the AMS?
M8S. M8S.
It looks.
Let me try to find it here for.
Got the picture up
for people to see. So this is the new HTC M9, the HTC One M9. And don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful phone.
It's a nice phone,
but unless you look at the camera, it's kind of hard to tell, because the old one had the two cameras. They finally decided to go with a 20 megapixel camera rather than stick to their 4 ultra pixels. But aside from that, it looks just like the old one, and the thing is that this is the second one that looks just like the old one, because the M8 looked very much like the M7. So when the M7 came out, people were like, "Oh my God, that's great! Good job, HTC. You are really doing good with designing, a full metal phone. That's Android phone. That's awesome." Then the M8 came out, and they were like, "Okay, kind of looks the same, but that's great because it looks better now, uh, more sophisticated. They fit some of the issues." And then now the M9 comes out, and it's like, "All right, you're still looking about the same. Still nice, but eh."
Well, then again, it took what Samsung the design since like the S3 was that, or the S3 has been the same. But if it's a good phone, it's a good phone. Like I don't know the how it looks like, or because like the sound quality they probably improved it, right? Because my brother, he has the M8.
Victorino,
Yeah, he has the
who
M8,
is not
and
with us today.
like when he plays something on YouTube, and I'm playing something on my like laptop, like his phone like destroys the audio on my laptop, and I'm like I can't hear I can hear perfectly what his phone is like playing, but I can't hear my own
No,
stuff.
and that is a great thing about the HTC One phones. They have great speakers in the front. Go
And
figure.
that's what I like about the phone. Like, so I don't really have a problem with the M9. It's like that much better. But
Yeah,
it's still 1080p, which to me, I really that's good enough for me. Like 1080 on a small screen.
honestly, like I have QHD on my Samsung Note, and I couldn't tell the difference between a 1080p and QHD. Personally, I'm glad that they kept the 1080p. 1080p to me looks great, and that should really help with the battery life. If you're 1080p, your battery might last longer. Um, so I'm okay with that. They put a great processor in there. I believe it's a Snapdragon 810, and that's gonna be it's gonna be a very fast phone. Um, so everything about it is great. It's got a 20 megapixel camera. That should be really good. I don't remember if it had optical image stabilization or not. Um, see if this thing says anything. Do you have optical image stabilization? Who knows?
Probably,
I can
I
tell.
mean, but I think by this time, like almost everybody's is including that. With
You would think they have it, right?
yeah, I would think.
So anyway, I like HTC, even though I've had bad luck with them.
But I think, although I think HTC did mess up I don't know, like I never got too much interested into the what's it called, the Nexus 9. They designed that, right?
Yeah, they designed the Nexus 9 kind of sucks. I'll admit to that. Um, it I don't know if it's just that it sucks. Build quality kind of sucks. People say it feels cheap. It feels crappy. Um, but I think this generation of Nexuses, they just kind of ruined the whole thing for me, because for me Nexus was good and cheap, and they
Yeah,
decided to go
exactly.
with somewhat good and expensive. So I'm like, I don't want to pay $400 for a Nexus tablet. Like,
Did
um,
you?
by the way, I do think that this is kind of funny. I am pretty sure that on the HTC M9 they did put a micro USB um,
Expendable? Yeah, it is
expandable.
expendable. Yeah.
Yeah. So Samsung took it away and they put it in.
Yeah. And
Let's see.
did you hear about the? Well, I don't know like how good it is, but like there was like a phone that I saw in a video that was like it's called like the black phone. Did you hear about
Oh
that?
yeah, I've heard about the black phone. Something about like top-notch security.
Yeah. So
Uh,
like I wanted to like look into it, but got lazy. But no, but like yeah, so apparently like it encrypts like all your phone calls and everything like this.
Yeah,
So
supposedly it's to keep the NSA away from your phone. I don't know. I don't know.
do you really think that that's gonna save you? Like they'll probably find some way to like.
I'm sure they've got the technology. So who knows? Um, I know. I forgot the name of it, but Nokia actually also came out with a tablet that they were showing in Barcelona. Um, for me, it's kind of funny because Nokia, they made the Lumia phones, which are Windows phones. Then Microsoft bought them, but apparently Microsoft only bought the manufacturing. So now the phone manufacturing. So now they are still Nokia, and they are still making stuff, but now they're making tablets. But now they're doing Android tablets. So it's an Android tablet that they made. Um, so again, I forget the name of it, but it looks interesting. And Nokia, they've always had great manufacturing, so their devices are usually pretty strong. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of
I like
interested in
their
that.
designs. Yeah, I like their designs. The Nokia.
So yeah, that's basically all I have to talk about today, unless you have something else.
Well,
I,
I guess I wanted to talk to you about So how are you enjoying your 3DS?
oh, my 3DS. So I got the new 3DS.
Because I almost bought one, but I was like, is it really that worth it? Like at this point, like I still like all my games still play on my. But go ahead. Like what's like
Yeah,
how?
yeah. There is absolutely no reason to buy it other than the fact that you can actually play 3DS games in 3D. The first thing that I did when I bought it was compare it to my 3DS, to my regular 3DS XL. And indeed, the 3D is so much better. It really is. Like you can actually move it around a bit and still see it 3D. While with the 3DS regular one, you move it around a tiny little bit and it just gets messed up. Um, so that's cool. I started playing Majora's Mask in it, and right away my finger just went straight to the little knob that controls the camera, and I did it without even thinking about it because with the new 3DS, there's a little knob that you can use as a C stick. And then I was like, wow, like I noticed that I was using it without even thinking about it. So I'm like how would I have done this in the old 3D without that? Like how would I have controlled the camera? Um, so I haven't even tried, but
Yeah, you probably would have to like use the touch screen or something.
probably. So that's kind of cool. I like it.
I'll
Is
probably
it worth?
go ahead.
Is it worth it? I don't know. It is faster. It is nicer looking. Just because you can actually play 3D. I was gonna say that the battery is removable, but apparently the battery on my old 3DS XL is also removable. I just never knew. Um, but on this one, I found out because this one actually has the SD card. It's a micro SD card, and it goes under that panel inside the device. So you actually have to unscrew it to remove the SD card. So
Well, talk about Nintendo for a little bit. It's really I don't know if you've heard of this, but like um several things that I think like I don't know what they're thinking, but like okay, so apparently Nintendo because the usually the 3DS it comes like in a smaller version, and then it's the XL version.
yes,
So the one you have, the new one is XL already. The regular small one that never came out, the new 3DS,
I
right?
I think those came out in Japan. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they never came out in the US, right?
Not that I know. No.
And I heard that they didn't do that apparently, so they didn't confuse the people. Because the whole naming thing.
Americans are pretty. No, I'm kidding.
And so it's just like, okay, so that's why they don't even sell like 3DSs no more. It's the 2DS, the 3DS, and the 2DS, the 3DS
You know, you
XL,
know,
and the new 3DS XL.
You know what pisses me off going along with that is the fact that this 3DS it is better, it is faster, it is more powerful, and that's all good. And it plays all the 3DS games because it is a 3DS. What kind of bothers me is the fact that they have mentioned that there may be games in the future that can only be played with the new 3DS. So to me, right there, it's like no, like that's stupid. Why are you even thinking of doing that? And it's like don't do that. And then my friend Elijah was telling me that at Best Buy he saw, because another very weird thing about the new 3DS is the fact that it comes without a charger. So you get the device, but you don't get a charger because people probably already have a 3DS and they can use the same charger. Oh, like who sells a device without a charger? Like, come on. And then at Best Buy, Elijah was telling me that they had chargers marked as new 3DS chargers when it's the same damn charger. Like, it's just gonna confuse people,
And I guess before we wrap up, I have a kind of like a little rant I want to go through.
Oh, I like rants.
Okay, all right. So I have the receipt here. Back in, let's see, when is it? Back in November 15, 2014. Okay, this is we're in March. What is it? March 6th or something?
Today is the 5th.
Oh, March 5th. Okay, so since November 15th, I pre-ordered the Super Smash Brothers bundle for the Wii U. Okay, so this is the one that came with the game, with the controller, and with the thingy, the adapter. Okay, it was supposed to arrive November 21st. Okay. So on November the 22nd, I went to Best Buy, and they had me put my name in the list. They're like, "Oh, we didn't receive the bundles yet. Can you put your name on the list? And as soon as we get them, we'll start calling them as first come first serve or whatever as in the list." All right. So every month I call. With hope that they know anything about it, and they always they don't know. They're like, I said I've had this since November, and they're like how much did you pay? Well, luckily I only paid $5. So it's not that big of a deal. And they're like they have no idea. So
they're like, dude, just give up.
Basically, that's what they told me. They're like, look, we can just use that towards the regular version of the Super Smash Brothers, and we'll give you an additional discount. So my question to you is, whose fault is that? Is that Nintendo's fault for not supplying these bundles? Because I've never seen them in stores. I don't know anybody who has them.
You know what? I am not sure whose fault it is. It could be Nintendo not supplying. It could be the stores assuming that they were going to get so much. I highly doubt that they were promised that they were going to get so much. And this is why I absolutely hate pre-ordering. I don't do it because this kind of shit happens, Like stores, well, they want to, they want to sell as many pre-orders as possible. And to me, a pre-order should be, I pre-order on release day, you give it to me. Like that's to me, that's the whole point of pre-ordering. And I've had it happen too many times where I pre-order a game, just a regular game, and then my pre-order doesn't happen, but then I go and I find it somewhere else. So then I'm like, okay, it's here, but I already paid over here.
It's what you do.
Then I want it now, so I'll buy it here, but then I gotta go get it over there and then return it. Like, it becomes such a mess. Like, you should only, in my opinion, you should only pre-order what you know you're gonna have.
Yeah.
So don't accept pre-orders if you don't know if you're even gonna have them. This is like BS. And then it really pisses me off when they inconvenience the hell out of people because like you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna get this game. It's gonna be the thing that I want. It's gonna be the cool collectible whatever. I pre-ordered as soon as I could, um, and it's gonna be great. But then they're like, oh yeah, we don't have it yet. So then you don't even buy it because you're thinking, well, mine's better, so I'm gonna wait on it. And then you wait on it, and while everybody else is playing the game, you're like, no, I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer. And then you keep waiting, and they're like, oh no, we don't have it yet. And then after all the inconveniences, they're like, well, we can return you the $5 that you paid. Like, it's like a big F you, like. Well, it's not gonna happen. Too bad. Here, we can refund you the money. We'll even give you a little discount.
And that's why I still don't have Super Smash Brothers.
And then it's pissing me off even more that now certain games, like I know Mortal Kombat X is doing this, they're giving you special stuff only if you pre-order.
Yeah.
So as if pre-ordering wasn't messed up enough already. So of course people are gonna pre-order, but what good does it use if it's not there on day one when you want it? Like, that just kind of kills pre-ordering for me. Like, pre-ordering should be very simple, Like, pre-ordering should tell you, I used to do forecasting at my job, and if I knew I was gonna have this many sold, then I would forecast that I need this many made.
That's what it's for, not. Yeah.
That's like the whole idea, If you for sure sold 1,000, then maybe you should, make, 1,500 or whatever, to cover that plus the extras.
Yeah.
But
the man has spoken.
So yeah. I hate pre-ordering. I encourage people to not do it because honestly, it is killing the industry. This whole you get this character only if you pre-order thing is bullshit. It shouldn't matter if I pre-order it or not.
But a lot of times it's something like so useless that it's like doesn't really add to the game anyways.
It could be something useless, a lot of times it's that collectible stuff, and I'm okay with that. But when you make it something from the game,
like additional DLC, like levels or something.
Like for example, on Mortal Kombat X, if you pre-order, you get to play as Goro. To me, that's kind of a big thing to give only to those that pre-order, Not that Goro is my favorite character or anything, but it might be somebody's.
Yeah, but I think eventually.
And then if you don't pre-order, then you feel like you got an unfinished version of the game.
Yeah, and then a lot of times it's like you're really unlocking things that's already in the disc, but you need a code to unlock it.
Oh, nowadays they download that shit, so who knows? I don't know. It's messed up. I hate pre-ordering. Don't do it. It's bad. It's ruining the industry. Also, don't buy Facebook games. Don't buy games that you have to pay to continue. Don't do that. That stuff, those microtransactions are just ruining gaming. And well, we can talk more about that when we do the Game X Presents podcast.
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk about that actually when we do that podcast, because I'm like, are those microtransactions basically the nowadays way of putting a quarter in an arcade, to continue? Who knows?
Is that the question?
So
tune in for Game X
that will be at the Game X Presents one whenever we actually do it. Hopefully soon.
Yep.
And hopefully with more people. Hopefully Victorino's gonna be.
Yeah, we'll have to what's it called? Regroup.
Yep.
And see when we can do it.
All right. Well, that is all that we have for today. I don't even know how long we've been talking. Probably an hour. Probably more. I don't know.
40 minutes.
Not bad for the first one where where we hadn't done it in like forever.
Yep, and talking
So
stuff, episode 1.
talking stuff or whatever. I might have to change the name. I don't know. That's probably something already. Um, stuff talks, HD talking. I don't know. Whatever.
I like talking
Anyway,
stuff. We'll deal with them with our.
if somebody actually watches and they come after me, I'll change the name. All right.
We'll make them change the name.
All right. So this is stuff.
This is Luis. X.
There we go. And this has been Talking Stuff, episode 1. We are out. Y'all take care. Bye.